Ladies and gentlemen, I am Master Sergeant Nathan Roten, your narrator for today's ceremonies. Throughout the ceremony, you will be given cues to rise and be seated at appropriate times. We'll begin our ceremony in just a few minutes. At this time, please make sure your electronic devices are turned off or set to the silent position. On behalf of Colonel James Hewitt, Commander, 318th Cyberspace Operations Group, welcome to the change of command ceremony for the 346 Test Squadron. During today's ceremony, Lieutenant Colonel Aidan Reyes will assume command of the 346 Test Squadron from Lieutenant Colonel Brian Viola. In keeping with a time-honored tradition, the change of command is conducted to signify the formal change of leadership in an organization. Dating back to the time of Frederick the Great of Prussia, units developed unique flags with specialized colors and designs to represent their organization. When soldiers followed their leaders into battle, they kept sight of the flag, which served as a rallying point to the chaos of battle. The guidon indicated the position of the commander on the battlefield and also accompanied him during ceremonies, and so the flag was incorporated in the change of command ceremony. The incoming commander accepts the flag, the symbol of the organization, in front of the unit so all may witness their new leader assume command as it has throughout history. Before we get started today, we'd like to recognize some of our distinguished guests. We are honored to have with us today Lieutenant Colonel Reyes' wife, Lauren, and his two children, Xavier and Isabella. From our senior leadership, we are honored to have the Commander, 67th Cyberspace Wing, Colonel Jeffrey Phillips. The Vice Commander, 67th Cyberspace Wing, Colonel Omar Velasco. The Command Chief, 67th Cyberspace Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Robert Hopkins. The Civilian Director, 67th Cyberspace Wing, Ms. Teresa Hawk. We would also like to offer a warm welcome to the other commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, members of the 346 Test Squadron, and all friends and relatives who have taken time out of their busy schedules to share in this special occasion with us. The presiding official for today's ceremony is the Commander, 318th Cyberspace Operations Group, Colonel Hewitt. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in recognizing the national anthem and observing the invocation by Chaplain McIntosh. Please stand. Please remain standing for the invocation from Chaplain McIntosh.
Our Father, as we come to this occasion today, we pay tribute to that which has gone before and anticipate that which is to come. Lieutenant Colonel Brian Viola, our departing commander, We ask for blessings and care upon him, his wife Cynthia, and daughters Aliana and Rowan, as they chart a new course as Colonel Viola assumes a new role and responsibilities. He has touched our lives, and we are better for it. Guide him as he has guided those who has been given to his charge these past 18 months. And now for our new commander, Lieutenant Colonel Aidan Reyes. We ask that you bless him, his wife Lauren, and children Isabella and Xavier, as they become part of our 436 Test Squadron Cobra family. Grant to them the wisdom and guidance they will need to lead this distinguished squadron to even greater accomplishments as they help support the mission for our 318th Cyberspace Operations Group and 67th Cyberspace Wing. Bless now this occasion, we pray, in your holy and precious name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain McIntosh. It is my pleasure to introduce the presiding official for today's ceremony, the Commander, 318th Cyberspace Operations Group, Colonel James Hewitt.
All right, thanks. Hey, good afternoon. It's always good to see a few people in a ceremony nowadays. Seems like it was just yesterday that we were here welcoming the Violas into the family. It's been a fast and furious ride over the last 18 months, but he's so good he managed to pack 2 years of work into a year and a half, so I guess we got to cut you loose. I want to take a minute, though, to thank a few people that put the ceremony together. Sergeant Roten ran point on the ceremony. He's not just the narrator, but him and his crew put this ceremony on. Normally, you just take the previous change of command script and program, and you pull it off the shelf and dust it off, and then change the names and run it back. But nothing's easy now with COVID, and so you've got to figure things out, and everything is unique. So thanks for volunteering to head this up. Make sure it's a special day for the squadron. It's his parting shot. He's about to roll out to Miami and head down to Southcom, so thanks for that. I wanted to thank Trevor. You've definitely stepped up the game from the public affairs department for these ceremonies. You know, the three of us, we've all been in this wing before. I think you've taken it to a whole new level, and I really appreciate everything that you're doing so that we can share these events with everybody that's not able to be here today. Chap, thanks for coming. Thanks for your kind words. It's always a better ceremony when you're a part of it, so I appreciate you being here. And as usual, the biggest thanks goes to Cornell. So we've all done changes of command in the wing before. Without Cornell, none of this really happens. So he reserves the facility. He holds our hand. He makes sure that we don't mess things up too much, although I do sometimes hit the first sergeant with the guidon in the face. He can't help that, but he has helped me through many ceremonies before, and the work that you do to make sure that these days are special is huge, so I appreciate everything that you do. Colonel Phillips, Colonel Velasco, Miss Hawk, Chief Hopkins, good to see you back. Chiefs, family, friends that might be connected virtually, good afternoon. Thanks for being here today to say thanks to the Violas and to welcome the Reyeses into the Cobra family. And normally it's easy to look in the front row and just start thanking everybody that's up close. It's a little more challenging now that we're just staring into a camera, which is kind of weird. So for everyone that's taken the time to connect virtually or socially distance their way into the crowd today, thanks for joining us. When we came together about 18 months ago to welcome the Violas into the Black Widow family, I think I probably made a joke about how fast you left Los Angeles, or maybe I joked about how hot it was because I just got here before you, I'm not sure. He was only in LA for about 12 months before he came and took command of the 346. And as a San Diego guy, I can't say I personally blame you for wanting to get out of LA soon, because I wouldn't want to spend any time there. But what I've noticed about Brian is he doesn't waste a lot of time. So there are people that have a lot of words, like to filibuster meetings, like to hear themselves talk. That's not Brian. He gets in, he makes his point, he gets out, kind of like he's doing with us today. I'm kind of sensing a trend with you. He gets after it pretty hard. So I want to take a few minutes to brag about Brian, so I hope you all can bear with me. When I got here, I didn't know much about the 346, or frankly, test for that matter. So I don't know which was a harder job for Brian, teaching test to me or commanding the 346. But even up until the last few days, I think even last week, and I'm asking the same boneheaded questions that I ask him all the time, more than happy to answer, take the time, explain it to me, whiteboard it, draw it on a napkin, whatever it helped to get me to understand the world of test, why it's so important, where he wanted to take test during his time here. He's been a fierce advocate for the Cobras and the value they bring to the fight. He's taken his marketing campaign to everyone from the NAF to Cyber Command, and in doing so, he's been recognized as an expert in the cyber test arena. All this comes at a cost, though, and I bet if you ask Cynthia, she probably doesn't enjoy the amount of time he spends answering emails in the evenings. I got a good idea about that time because I'm the recipient of a lot of those emails, and I see the timestamp on them usually when I get up the next morning. So Cynthia, we're giving him back to you. Please accept my thanks for supporting him over the last 18 months and letting him focus on the squadron. Now, there's a theory that leaders generally get to a unit at exactly the right time for what the unit needs. And if any of you are sports people, like I'm a sports people, it kind of goes when how you hire coaches, it's based on the roster and what you think that team needs at that specific moment. And that kind of applies to the way that squadron commanders get chosen for squadrons. And Brian got here at exactly the right time for the unit and for me, frankly, because I'm very fortunate that our times happened to overlap while we were here. I was lucky because of the relationships that Brian had built and fostered before he ever got here. So the relationships that he had in past assignments with Jake Ames and Peter Francic and Jared Ekholm and HNC and the rest of our mission partners that we support throughout the 318th really paid dividends. He was able to work together with those friends and coworkers and peers to build an incredible team. And I often, tell a joke that if we have really tough problems in the wing, we should just take the squadron commanders and go lock them in a room and throw some snacks and drinks in there and let them solve those tough problems. And they'll probably solve them all and problems that we didn't even know we had. Brian's a powerhouse leader who's got an incredible amount of technical knowledge to go along with that leadership skill. He's passed every leadership test with flying colors along the way. Right after he assumed the mantle of Cobra 1, which, by the way, I think is probably the coolest call sign that we have in the wing. And if you look at the new mural that is painted inside the 346 building on the wall, they probably have the coolest wall art too now. So that's awesome. But right after he got there, we carved off a significant portion of the squadron to stand up the range squadron. And then we took his DO and made his DO the range squadron commander, and he never missed a beat. And then right after that, COVID hit, and his squadron, his building was the first organization in the wing to get hit with COVID when we didn't have any procedures or personal protective equipment or cleaning supplies or anything to figure it out. And we gave that all to Brian. But it's a big deal because his building isn't just the home of the 346, but there's 4 squadrons that live in that building. He took ownership of the problem. He rallied the Cobras and the rest of the squadrons, established some guidance, and then he organized the squadron commanders to come in after hours to clean the facility themselves so we could get it back open for business. There were a lot of unknowns back then about the virus, but his calm demeanor and quick actions kept the contact spread to 0 and allowed for business to resume quickly. I told you I was going to brag about him for a minute, and I'm almost done, but not quite there. Over the course of his time in the wing, he thoroughly modernized how we do tests to make sure test is done at the speed of relevance, that it brings value to the operational units, and ultimately that we can take some of the burden off the wing's operators and the line units. The work Brian has done to modernize test will be felt for a long time. He took one look at the waterfall process, which industry had modernized 10 years ago, and started collaborating with sister squadrons and that network that I mentioned before to embed testers into the development process. At the same time, he came up with innovative ways to bring current operators into the squadron during this time of really manpower, when we're manpower strapped for operators across the wing in the Air Force. And now, thanks to his hard work, we have some operational expertise in the squadron to go along with the years of experience that already existed. He's brought the convergence of experience together at exactly the right time to enable us to deliver capability to the operator faster. You're going to hear some of those specific accomplishments when we read his medal, but what I want to leave you with about Brian is this. His priorities have always been in exactly the right place. He told me his goals going into the unit were to leave the organization better than he found it and to make a positive difference every day. Brian, you did that in spades. Congratulations, and thank you for a job well done. Best of luck as you embark on the next chapter of your Air Force journey. As we say farewell to one Air Force family, we welcome another. The Reyes has come to us from Langley, where Colonel Reyes was on the ACC staff and the chief of the Capability Development Branch, so he's going to fit in really well on the 318th. Team Reyes' roster is made up of his wife Lauren, Xavier, and Isabella. Thanks for being here today. My wife is sorry she can't be here today, but she woke up and had a bunch of allergies, and so in this environment, but they're a Texas family, and Lauren is a San Antonio native. They met while both were attending UTSA, so this assignment is kind of a homecoming for them. So welcome. Lauren, I want to thank you in advance for the demands we're going to place on your husband. We're going to ask a lot of him, but nothing that stacks up to running a household or running a COVID schoolhouse or running a business like you and so many other parents have been doing during this crazy pandemic time. So don't let him fool you there. But we are going to ask a lot of him, so thanks in advance for your support to allow him to focus on our mission. I also want to extend my personal thanks and that of the Black Widow family for moving early to get down here and take command. So I know PCSing is lousy. PCSing to San Antonio can be particularly lousy because I think we all have horrible household goods stories that we've all experienced coming down here. And you guys had to move out of cycle and early, and you've all got down here and allowed us to have this ceremony today, so I really appreciate you being down here. So looking through Colonel Reyes' records, you can see why he was so highly coveted for the job. He's got a long history in the test community across a variety of platforms, and he knows the test business. When we were looking for the next Cobra commander, all roads pointed to him. I'm not from the 6'2" career field family, so I had to reach across my network of contacts to get names so we could provide a recommendation to the boss, and it was unanimous across the board. Everyone said you had to hire Aiden. He's the right person to join the team and lead the Cobras into the next chapter. Being chosen to be a commander in 16th Air Force is a big deal. We're not like other numbered air forces. We're the only information warfare command in the Air Force, and we're leading the Air Force into the competition era. The work we do here is vitally important and virtually unknown to most. However, that doesn't lessen the importance. We satisfy multiple demanding 4-star bosses, and we do it better than any other service. The team you're joining is talented, hardworking, and straight up produces results. The Cobras straddle both worlds of institutional Air Force test requirements and operational test requirements. And through all of that, the Cobras never disappoint, and they always find ways to deliver results. You got big shoes to fill, but I know the Air Force got this selection right. So Face, Lauren, welcome to the family. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Hewitt. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the Meritorious Service Medal to Lieutenant Colonel Brian Viola. Attention to orders. This is to certify the President of the United States of America has authorized by Executive Order 16 January 1969 has awarded the Meritorious Service Medal 4th Oakley Cluster to Lieutenant Colonel Brian Viola for meritorious service 1 August 2019. Member squadron through a metamorphosis. His visionary leadership not only resulted in numerous squadron firsts, it inculcated these revolutionary advancements at the Major Command and Department of Defense levels. Additionally, his operational experience and outstanding technical acumen led to the fielding of 46 cyber capabilities, enabling 1,355 cyber missions, delivering 323 cyber fires across 6 areas of responsibility, resulting in 4 insurgents detained and 6 enemy KIA. Furthermore, Lieutenant Colonel Viola tirelessly battled for vital squadron resources, garnering 18 billets and $4.4 million, resulting in a 24% increase in throughput and the fielding of 11 additional capabilities. Finally, Lieutenant Colonel Viola's leadership was integral in equipping Air Force and Joint Cyber Forces in the successful defense of the 2020 United States presidential elections. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Colonel Viola reflect great credit upon himself, and the United States Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The 346 Test Squadron Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Brian Viola, will now address his command for the last time.
Thank you, Airman Montez, Airman Blake, Master Sergeant Roten, Mr. Hoskins, and the rest of the team that worked to bring this special event together. Chaplain McIntosh, thank you for your special words. Wing staff, JBSA leadership, fellow commanders, friends, and mentors, thank you for making the time to show your support. Wow, time flies. When I started thinking about what to say today, gratitude came to mind. Gratitude for the support you provided me through my command, gratitude for what the Cobras do for the mission and our nation every day. Speaking to you 18 months ago, during the change of command, I pitched taking operational tests into the 21st century. Over the past 18 months, there were many challenges. At our lowest point, squadron manning was 68%. We split the 346 mission, standing up the range squadron. We had multiple DOs, 80% turnover amongst our military, and we lost over 200 years of experience to retirement. Oh yeah, there was also a global pandemic to navigate. Not only did you overcome these challenges, you excelled through them. You revolutionized how we support cyber operations by rewriting the book on operational test. You enabled the stand-up of the Wing's first ever test center. You worked across the cyber enterprise, building partnerships and developing new processes that enabled the Wing's first operational fielding decision. You also fundamentally changed the culture of the 346, taking it from an organization that informed operations to one which is integrated into operations. I am both humbled and honored to have been your commander. Colonel Phillips, Colonel Velasco, Ms. Hawk, thank you for championing some of our more radical ideas and making the daily deliberate effort to incorporate the 346 into Wing operations. Colonel Hewitt, thank you for all your mentorship and support throughout this evolution. At the onset, we knew that status quo was not working. And though we had an idea of what the solution looked like, by no means did we have a crystal ball. Your confidence and support was critical in the squadron's success. I can't say thank you enough to the 346 command team and their sage advice. I get most of my ideas during my runs, and you were my sounding board. Les, Senior, DT, thank you for always providing me honest and open feedback. You've definitely walked me back for some crazy ideas. Flight commanders, Tim, Wendy, Captain VC, Captain Hughes, you are where the magic happens. Thank you for your support in making the past 18 months of change a reality. Keep doing what you do. Test directors, engineers, and analysts, you are the backbone of the squadron. You are what the 346 brings to the fight. Simply, you are irreplaceable. Thank you for your support and flexibility. Thank you. Cyber never stands still, so please keep driving meaningful change across the squadron and across the Air Force. Looking through Lieutenant Colonel Reyes' record, you guys are definitely getting an upgrade. Face has both the pedigree and experience to lead the 346 through its next chapter. He brings a wealth of test and operational experience that no doubt will continue to operationalize the squadron, ensuring the Air Force's information warfare dominance today and on future battlefields. Viola is excited to join the H&C team and thankful that our next chapter in the Air Force experience is not far from home. We look forward to seeing everyone around San Antonio, so rather than goodbye, till next time.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Viola. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as we invite Colonel Hewitt and Lieutenant Colonel Reyes to join Lieutenant Colonel Viola at center stage, where Colonel Hewitt will officiate the change of command ceremony and command of the 346 Test Squadron will be formally passed from Lieutenant Colonel Viola to Lieutenant Colonel Reyes. Attention to orders. Special order number G-21-001, dated 1 February 2021, Lieutenant Colonel Brian Viola is relieved of command of the 346 Test Squadron, and Lieutenant Colonel Reyes assumes command effective 2 February 2021 by order of Colonel James Hewitt, Commander, 318th Cyberspace Operations Group. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the 346 Test Squadron Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Aiden Reyes. At this time, we would like to invite Ms. Lauren Reyes to come forward to pin the commander's pin on Lieutenant Colonel Reyes' uniform. Across the United States Air Force, officers are awarded with the distinctive badge of leadership. The insignia is presented to Air Force officers who hold a command billet.
Whew. All right, thank you. It's truly an honor of a lifetime taking command of the 346, and it's a little bit more humbling knowing that it's going to be in a place where it all started 16 years ago in San Antonio. Leadership, Colonel Phillips, Colonel Hewitt, thank you very much for this opportunity. Hopefully I don't let you down. I look forward to working with you in the future. As much as I would like to thank everybody individually, obviously, time constraints, I'm the last guy on the stand, so therefore I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible. I'd like to just focus on the deeds of everybody that have brought me along the way. To those that prayed for me, I appreciate it. I'm going to need it more now than ever, taking command. To those that kind of raised, mentored, and developed me as I started off as a kid, teenager, student, lieutenant, captain, all the way up, I appreciate those kind words and helping me along the way to become the man that I am today. Thank you. And now some special thanks, obviously to the leadership. Once again, I look not to disappoint. Thanks again to my mom, my dad, and my sister. Thanks again for everything. This means a lot to all of us. You mean the world to me, so I look forward to not disappointing you once again. To my wife and kids, Lauren, Xavier, Isabella, you're the best. I couldn't have done it without you. So I look forward to this next adventure, this next chapter in our life. It's going to be fun and a blast. And all those that couldn't be here, based on the restraints and things of that nature, you know that how we normally celebrate, we will have that opportunity to celebrate once again. It's just going to have to be at a socially distanced and socially acceptable time frame. So I look forward to celebrating with y'all. And I continue to ask for your mentorship and guidance along the way. Like I said, I'm going to need it now more than ever. And finally, to the 346, to the Cobras, I look forward to working for you. I'm excited to be working with you in the future, and I'm excited to actually be a part of this organization and what we bring to the table and what we're going to do for the warfighter. So once again, thank you, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Please join us in the playing of the Air Force song and the departure of the official party.